Hello, my name is Ipolito Mubiru. I am the Executive Director for African Diversity and Inclusion Center, a Pan-African organization working to advance diversity, equality, inclusion and belonging for women, youths, and minority groups of people across Africa. We are a charitable organization which is Pan-African, and we are here to collaborate with Global Alliance Diversity, Equality, Inclusion and Belonging Month, which seeks to advance diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging across the different associations and across the globe in as far as diversity, equality, inclusion in PR is concerned. Our organization was started in 2018, December, which was coming from the underwings of another organization. And it simply sprouted out of the fact that there was a need for a charitable organization working to advance diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging on the continent, which wasn't there before. And our work spans beyond health equity, workplace inclusion, and societal inclusion. And in health equity, we work within the sectors of cancer awareness and control, HIV awareness and control, sexual and reproductive health and rights, and health systems strengthening across the continent, beginning with Uganda, where we are based, and going far beyond that. The specific minority groups of people we work with include LGBTQ, the disabled peoples, and ethnic minorities. It is such a very important topic on the continent because not so many organizations, especially indigenous ones, understand the topic. And there is, however, a very important need that we address the issues that we face. What happens across the world is that when you look at what multinationals do offer in terms of diversity, equality, and inclusion within their own spectrums, is that what they're offering within their countries of origin, especially from Europe and North America, is quite very different with what they are doing on the African continent. Thus, our need and a challenge that we see within the African communities to up the game in order for us to create the communities we want to see, to create the associations want to see, and to speak and engage with these multinationals in order for them to be in position to bring the very great programs they have within the Western world into the African communities and create the world that we want to see all together. As a charitable organization, beginning from the grassroots and growing Pan-African, we do have programs that we think really can help us engage and bring out the difference we want to see in the communities we have. One of them is the African Female Directors Program, and this seeks to see more female leaders joining corporate boards. If you look at the recent McKinsey report, which came through, it so indicated that Africa is at 25% of the global needed 30% inclusion within corporate boards. And it is, of course, pertinent upon us to advocate for more inclusion, to provide platforms that can actually help organizations, corporations, and governments be in position to really look at gender equality within corporate boards and create the difference together as a people. Multi-stakeholder engagement is at the center of what we do because it is the only way through which we can ensure the support we need, but also ensure the difference that we really want to see in the communities being created. And of course, that includes different CSOs, NGOs, and civil society organizations. It also includes governments and other stakeholders within the government spectrum, that is national governments, regional governments, and the African Union, but also engaging corporate leaders on all fronts, from the small and medium enterprises to the multinationals that are having quite a number of subsidiaries across the African continent. And this way we can be in position to create the differences we want to see in the world we have. Another way, another program that we really have, and it is so effective, is the African Influentialists. And within the Influentialists, we do highlight the people across the globe, across Africa, sorry, that are creating and improving and helping Africa become inclusive. From the women, from the youths, from the minority groups of people, to the men that really understand diversity and inclusion. From an activist somewhere within the African slums to a president somewhere who is actually doing a lot of work in as far as diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging is concerned, which is quite very, very interesting to all of us. Another program We need, and we are working on an Africa-wide consortium, which is driving and multi-stakeholder-led, trying to bring about supplier diversity into the African corporate spectrum, into the African corporate space, so that more and more businesses of diverse suppliers can be included in the supply chains, can be included in procurement, with governments, with multinationals all across Africa. We're also very, very mindful about how people are treated at the workplace. And that's where we're working on a DEI fellowship, so that we engage more and more strategically positioned leaders within different corporations, small, big, medium, so that way they can be in position to learn more about diversity and inclusion, appreciate its importance, and be in position to implement the same at the workplace. This is going to be a 6-month fellowship, and through the fellowship we shall be in position to engage more and more leaders so as to achieve our agenda of an inclusive Africa, where our diversity is not an issue, but we all come together to build the Africa we all want, as the Agenda 2063 is concerned. Another important program is engaging with journalists through our journalism fellowship. And this is important because narratives matter. This is important because reporting matters. And working with reporters and media houses within different contexts and within different target groups and demographics will be quite very important in achieving the work that we want to see achieved. And we know through this, for sure, that we shall be in position to create the narratives that matter, the narratives that speak about the injustices different groups of people that we target are actually facing, and through that we can create a better and inclusive Africa. How do we see the future coming alongside? When you look at Africa being the youngest continent on the planet, you see a lot of possibilities with the youths. What happens is that there aren't opportunities that are coming into terms with what Africans, especially the youths, are facing. So if really we can see more opportunities through inclusion being created, that will be super cool and super great in order for us to achieve the difference that we really want to see achieved. Through collaborations, of course, with the Global Alliance and other organizations that can understand this to the core, seeing more PR consultants, PR associations, PR personnel, picking on diversity and inclusion, coming alongside us to work with us, possibly on a volunteer basis. Others coming, possibly offering their expertise in as far as this is concerned, and trying to let communities understand that we can never, ever create a sustainable world that the Agenda 2030 of the United Nations wants to see unless all of us are included. That will be super important. And it is very important that the PR people do understand this to the core, because they are charged they're charged with the fact that they're supposed to be disseminating this information in a very inclusive way to the whole of Africa, whole wide world, to the communities where we are, for them to understand about diversity, equality, and inclusion. So we're calling upon everyone who has a willingness to learn, who wants to know more about us. You can contact me. My addresses, my contacts will be shared with all of you, and we can see how we can build it together. If you really think we can do something, possibly not say it here, something which you think you can be engaged in, maybe there is a woman leader somewhere who has always been thinking about how do I give back to the communities, and they don't see a way. We can always chat about that. We can always talk about that. We can always find ways through which we can dramatize a shameful situation in order for us to be in position to create the world that we want to see across Africa. Thank you so much.